What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Unknown Coatings channel. Got another tutorial for today, but before I get to that, I want to apologize for the lack of content. And I think we've gone like 2 weeks without a video, which I think is the longest I've ever gone. But that'll be changing. There'll actually be a video up for the next 7 days straight, including today. So you will see this one go up, and then, like I said, there'll be 6 more videos following shortly after. The video that was going to be episode 100, that was kind of going to be a special episode, I have bumped to 110. I know that that's not like super convenient, but there were some changes for sponsors. I wanted to add some stuff to it, so it just made sense to kind of throw it all in and put it off to another date. Episode 110 will be coming up, within the next 2 weeks. It'll be up, so no stress on that. This is another how-to. This is how to polish powder coating. This will work for any, we're doing this on clear, but you can do this on any solid tone powder. Can't work on textures and things of that nature, obviously, and then I would not recommend it on pearls or metallic colors, but if you clear them, obviously this will work. Got my buddy Sean here. He does detail and paint correction, so I'm going to have him go through the process with you guys, and I'm going to kind of narrate it for you guys so you guys can get a better understanding of how to do this. It's pretty straightforward, doesn't require any real special tools by any means. Sean obviously has some kind of higher end detail stuff, which is a little different than most of you guys might have in your garage, but definitely just a buffer from pretty much anywhere is going to work out for you. Enjoy the video. Alright guys, so the face that we're starting off with, or the project we're starting off with here, is a set of 22-inch Weds Crayons Bazeria faces. Pretty common face, big full face. Thought it'd be easy to show you guys this task on. In 22-inch, these are ultra rare. These are done in Prismatic Universe, and as you can see, this color is absolutely gorgeous. These faces, as you can see, they're pretty shiny, but they still have a good bit of orange peel. These were actually blasted by somebody else and were incredibly rough, and they also have some kind of strange lines that I didn't know would be there. So I'm actually going to be stripping these all the way down, sanding down the faces entirely, reblasting them, and doing this process over. As you can see here, this is the orange peel that we're going to work to try to get rid of. This is a little more aggressive because of the coat that's on it. It's got Sean here. My buddy Sean is shining a special light just to kind of show him what he's working with. It's kind of like a daytime light before he gets into the sanding. We actually started this project with 1500 grit, and then it's wet soapy water. He actually uses a special lubricant basically for sanding, but it's essentially just like soapy water. And you're looking to make everything as smooth as possible. You can kind of see some rough areas, and we'll actually kind of show you the difference between an area that's been sanded enough versus not sanded. I asked him about technique a little bit as far as how to sand, if it's back and forth or in circles or whatever, and he said it probably isn't going to matter too much on something like this because you're going to end up polishing any of the theoretical swirl marks out of it. But the big thing here is wet sanding. We went 1500 and then 2000. Ultimately, we found out we probably should have started with 1000 on this, but we didn't want to get too wild at first. So you go over the entire thing, continuing to keep it nice and lubricated, keeping it clean. That's the big thing. You want to, anytime you're sanding an area, you want to clean it first. Sand a bit, then clean it again, because you don't want to be taking the material that you're removing and smearing it all around the face, obviously, as you sand. So make sure you keep it clean. You'll see he goes through a number of microfiber towels in this process, trying to keep a nice clean surface. Continuing to sand this whole thing, a face like this obviously is a little easier than, say, a valve cover or something of that nature, but it's all pretty much the same work. The size of the buffer that you're going to use later on is probably going to be dictated by whatever you're doing. I chose just a big full face, obviously, to show you guys this process. But here you can kind of see the areas that are sanded well enough. There was an area that's not sanded at all. Don't mind my hip-hop videography there. And then you want to pay real close attention to the edges. That's one of the biggest things here. So, because sanding over an edge is typically where you'll remove too much material. So as you can see right here, this orange peel area, this is just with some light sanding. This whole area still needs sanded because you want it to look like this area here where it's nice and smooth, no kind of rough patches like you see right there. We left this one area just to be able to show it. So now Sean's going to go over that area. This is once again with 2000 grit paper. I kind of said at the beginning, we probably should have started with 1500 or 1200 and went at it a little more aggressive than we ended up doing it. But this is going over it with, 1500, then 2000. Gives you a pretty good, nice, even finish here before we're going to get into more polishing. And you'll see Sean kind of throughout this video will sand some, polish some, sand some, polish some, because he's testing to see what if we've sanded enough. And although that's kind of annoying, you're only spending a couple minutes in between each session, so it's not like you're sanding for hours and then hoping it's enough and polishing for hours and finding out it's not. So just make sure that you go over the whole thing nice and easy. If you're concerned about doing this, if you've never done this, obviously the suggestion is not to do it on a customer's part. You should be doing it on your own parts. But with that said, it's quick and easy to learn this process. I mean, this is a process that I think anybody can do. It's all about patience. You don't want to get too far ahead of yourself here. And then, like I said, the basic tools are just some sandpaper, some, sanding lube or soapy water will work just the same. And then a polisher of some kind. Like I said, Sean's using some specific detail polishers, but you don't necessarily need to go that route. You can just go to like Harbor Freight or wherever and get a decent polisher. And he has all different size heads and things for different, jobs that he's doing. Obviously, this is more like a detail polisher for small areas. He actually came back and did it with a little bit bigger polisher just at the end that you guys don't see. Shouts to the sponsor, Go Peaks. And bam, just like that, you were done. The long-running joke in my powder group has always been, if you can read the serial number from a bill, then your finish is shiny enough. And as you can see, we accomplished that here. So we're going to do another follow-up video to this with a slightly different technique and a little more aggressive as well. So look forward to that. I don't know when it will be, probably at least a month from now. But as always, I appreciate your guys' support. If you haven't hit that like button, please be sure to do so. Subscribe to the channel, turn on all notifications, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time.
By now you should have at least blown. It's funny, I'm mad famous for being unknown.